Let me clear my throat. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm out here getting paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informants informing, that information forming. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got you underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life can. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the course, square like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up, with the snake hits, get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up if I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle and lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, keep pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. How y'all doing out there tonight? I hope you are doing well and have had an amazing day. It has been a long day and week. This is the longest weekday to ever exist. But good evening. Blessings to you all. Happy Thursday. Welcome to October. Thank you for joining us here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. I am your Thursday night host, your girl, Lady Dawn B, in the building on tonight. And I hope that you have been enjoying this space with us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been having amazing conversations. September was a month to remember. Yes, indeed. And we want to keep it moving. Can you believe it's October already? I just can't. The year is going and almost gone. But that's all right, because we're not leaving 2024 without some good stuff. So I'm glad that the year is progressing on. We got some stuff to show that we made it through another year progressively. We leaving with some good stuff. There goes my lady, my auntie Bravo. I always got to stop when I see her because we got to salute the curator of this space, the amazing, the incomparable, the one and only gracious and glorious Pastor Sheila Ingram, my auntie Bravo. We salute you tonight and say thank you as always for yielding this captain's chair to me so that we can have great conversation. She says, blessings, everyone still on the road. Have a great show. You travel safely and breathe. All will be well is well. And we hope that you are enjoying your time. And yes, ma'am, I'm excited because she's going to be on with us next week, but I'm going to talk about that later. So good evening again, everyone. Like, subscribe, share. Come on, it is free 99. Hit that thumbs up button for us. We do appreciate it here on the Sheila, as we say, Sheila Ingram Ministries. That's across the street because it's calling to me. Here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, we appreciate your support. And we asked that if you would not mind, please, sir, just go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for us. And that helps to support the network. It pushes us up in our numbers. We want to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's the good goal. That's the next goal. It's not the only goal, but it's the next goal. I think we're at like 912 or 916. So if you guys don't mind, please support us. Please, ma'am. Please, sir. We ask so graciously. Just hit that thumbs up button and then subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of the great and amazing conversations that take place. We have many things going on over here on the Bravo with Sheila Network on Thursday nights. Again, I am here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But on Monday nights, we have my fellow podcasters and fellow authors, the co-founders of the amazing Harlem Girls, Inc. We are an amazing writing group. They are on Monday nights with Mondays Beyond the Mic. And you don't want to miss that space and the great conversation that they have there. We trying to help y'all get your life together for real and for real. And Pastor Sheila, she is all over the Bravo Sheila Network. And she's across the street, right across the street. You can't miss it either way, that way or that way. It's just right across the street over on the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network, where you get good word, good inspiration, good encouragement, and talk about a good God. And we also over there, I know I'm jumping back and forth. I'm just talking about it while it's in my mind. But while we're over on the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network, like, subscribe, and share over there also. We have everything for your mind, your body, and your soul. Between the two, you ain't got to go nowhere. We're an all-inclusive package. You are sure to find something wonderful over there. If you need a word of inspiration, she teaches. There's the kabbalah, there's meditation moments, there is ministry through worship and song. I mean, it's just so many things. You will not be disappointed. You will leave uplifted. On Tuesday mornings over there, we have Pastor Rosa, who is my mom, for real. She's on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. with a good word that she speaks from the Bible and shares from her heart. We also have on Fridays, the Three Amigos, also known as the Women of Grace. They come on Fridays at 11 a.m. And that is none other than Pastor Sheila, my mama, Pastor Rosa, and Reverend Jenny, my AKA Auntie Gangster. These three women come on and they share. Good word, good teaching, good fellowship, and just amazing women of grace. So come on over there and share. Get in and get a good word going on. So again, we want to welcome everyone on tonight. I want to thank you for tuning in for September. Fluffy Nation, where you at? Stand up. We ain't forget. It's our season still. So, we still, the hoodies are coming. Don't worry. I got y'all. We're going to have an update real soon. Fluffy Nation's in the house. But for tonight, and for this month of October, before I even get there, see, I'm skipping stuff, y'all. I'm trying to use my calm voice tonight. That's what it is. I'm trying to use my calm voice. But I do want to greet some people. We see the greatest moderator ever to be in these YouTube streets, to ever do it in the nation. None other than the lady Inne Kenya's in the house. She's saying, hey, Bravo. Listen, if you haven't been greeted until you get greeted by Lady Inne, okay? I'm just trying to tell you. She's saying, hey, don't be, hey, sis. And she's loving the thumbnail. Thank you. I know, isn't that? Listen, I think that's going to be the regular ladies' room thumbnail, because yes, Auntie did that. She was not playing, and I love it, and I love it some more. Oh, who else we got in the building? None other than Sir Hale Speaks. Hey, how you doing, sir? Welcome. So glad to see you on tonight. Thank you for popping in, stopping by, and to support what we do here on the Bravo with Sheila Network on Thursday nights. Lady Dawn B. He's saying, hey, Lady Inne, and hey there, Bravo with Sheila. Let's see who else we got in the house. We'll make sure we say hello to everybody, because we got time to do so. Oh, where we go? There we go. My girl, Lady Elaine. Hey, bestie, how you doing? Elaine Edwards says, hey, my good girls are coming in and sharing on tonight. I know it's ladies' room night, and we had a little switch with the program on tonight, but you're gonna get some good stuff over here. It's still ladies' room night. So we just want to greet everyone who's in the comments so far. Like, subscribe, and share. Invite a friend. Bring them into this conversation. October is going to be amazing. And we want to say good evening to everyone that's up in the expensive seats in the silent section. Want to encourage you to come on down to the comment section. It's safe here. I promise we have security, and you will be all right. And with that being said, while Bravo with Sheila is not a Christian-based network, most of us who come on are believers. So as I always say, I'm a God's girl, so you're going to get some Jesus when you get me. But we do respect, we honor, and we are open to everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Whatever your moral compass is, we do respect and honor that. And we just ask everyone to be respectful and mindful in the chat as we engage in dialogue with each other. We're not here to convict nor to convince, but we are here to have real conversation with real resolutions that will help us grow and improve relationships with each other. And the main relationship that we need to improve is the one with ourselves. I got to have a good relationship with me first so that I can have a good relationship and show up better with others. All right. So I think that's all of our announcements for the moment. So we are going to start getting into this conversation tonight because I'm looking forward to sharing with the ladies. Now, on tonight, we're going to be talking about something that might be a little triggering. So I just wanted to let you know that we are not, this is all for informational purposes only. We are just introducing this topic this month. We have some experts coming, and we just want everyone to be aware. Nothing too heavy because, we always make it fun no matter what it is. But October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so for this month is also Clergy Appreciation Month. Let me say that. Yes. So to all of the clergy, to Pastor Hale, because he is also a pastor, Pastor Sheila, my mom, Pastor Rosa, to Dr. ND and Lady Deshawn and Pastor Chris and Pastor B, everybody, all the pastorship, everybody. We want to wish you and honor you for Clergy Appreciation Month and say thank you for doing what you do and for standing in the grace of God to declare his word and be an encouragement and a light to other people. So we just want to honor that. But also that's on the Christian side. On the other side, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So on tonight, we want to have some conversation, just introducing and sharing some information. Again, we are not experts. We are not counselors here. We do have counselors coming. So we are opening up a dialogue that I think is very, very important. And we want to pause and go a little deeper in our conversations and share just some thoughts, some feelings, and have conversation, if that's all right. We always make it good and fun because we've all been in situations, I'm sure, that have left us feeling vulnerable, possibly violated, and just uncomfortable. Some of the choices that we've made in relationships or some of our habits in relationships, how we show up, how we respond, how we react, are learned habits and behaviors. Some things that we feel are normal and functional are actually dysfunctional habits, I would say, that have been passed down from generation to generation. But if on tonight we can kind of give a different perspective to our ways of thinking and be self-reflective so that we can grow and so that we can be better. That's what we want to do. Let's see. Hey, Michelle, thank you for tuning in on tonight. I am so glad you were able to make it. So while it's a deep conversation, and we'll be talking about this all month long, we have some various people coming to share, and I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to make it, we make it fun and interesting. So I want to bring up some of the ladies on tonight that are with us just to share in some dialogue. Y'all know her. Y'all love her. I am her 404. Okay. She is my mama. She has pushed 4 of us out, the most amazing one being the last one. That would be me. Okay, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. I'm just stirring the pot. I love y'all, big brothers and big sis. Y'all are all amazing. I'm just playing. So come on up, Pastor Rosa. How are you doing, Mommy? Thank you for joining us on tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma'am. Yes. And you look amazing. You are welcome for being here. I also want to now bring up the first lady, the only lady, the leading lady of Believers International Detroit, my sis, none other like her in the world. She represents the D, all right, the Detroit. Come on up, Lady Deshawn Beal. How are you, sis? I was going to say, you muted, Deshawn. There you go.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to see you. Hey, Mama Rosa.
How are you?
Surprise! She's here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our ladies' room night. And as I said, we're sharing on Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're going to have some great conversations going on. We're not going to go extremely deep on tonight. We just want to kind of introduce, open up some conversation. And we want to share a little bit in dialogue. So again, it may be triggering for some. So we do want to put that out there, and we do understand, and we are mindful. We're not, like I said, we're not going to get deep because our experts are not here tonight, but they are coming. So we just want to open up and engage in a little bit of conversation on tonight. Just in honor of that, because I think that we have in some ways become desensitized to some dysfunctions that happen in our homes and in relationships, because as times have changed and, things that are, there's a song I think the Wanies used to sing that says, has a line that says, you're the only thing left right in a wrong world, and they were saying in the song that there'll come a time where right is wrong and wrong is right. And I believe that we have reached the pinnacle of this time. That word has reached us this day. We are living that word now. And there's so much of every man for himself and everyone doing their own thing. And what happens is we come into relationship with one another doing what we want to do. And we've forgotten that being in relationship with one another is being mindful of each other, so sometimes we take advantage of each other in ways that we should not. And sometimes we become desensitized because we see everybody doing it. Things start trending, when things start trending, it becomes a problem because then it becomes the norm, I remember when there was no cursing allowed on the TV, at all. You couldn't say nothing. You couldn't even say hell, you just couldn't say it. Now, it's nothing for them to come on and use the B word. It's nothing for them to, curse. It's just the changes and the subtle changes, if you think about it over time, have desensitized us from that space of where it would be offensive and unheard of. Because children were watching, we were respecting families and trying to have a united moral compass, I would say. But now these things have become so commonplace that our children are exposed to them at very young ages. And then they're desensitized to them as they get older. This is just the norm. This is just what we do. Because this is what we're exposed to and this is what we're experiencing. And, this is the world today. Mom, you don't know what you're talking about because everybody's doing that. And it's not like it was back in your day. All of those things. And so many of those things start at home. And so sometimes we are becoming desensitized at home first to the point that when we get out in the world, things that should bother us don't. We've already built up a resistance to particular things that happen. And we have to be so careful and so mindful to guard our feelings, our emotions, and to keep our respect and integrity intact. So I just wanted to start there. Do you ladies want to jump in? Do you want to share anything, any thoughts about anything that I've said before I share a little bit? And we're going to get into the conversation, and we're going to talk about letting it fall off, letting some things fall off. While we're in this fall season, there's some stuff that we need to let fall off of our lives. So I'm going to yield my mic, see if you ladies want to jump in and share anything on this topic so far.
I wanted to say, you know, when you were saying it was so common and we become desensitized. I did a case study on this for my master's, and one of the things, you know, it's just so alarming. You know, how we change things. You know, we redefine things to make them more socially acceptable or whatever, you know, and so the issue gets hidden in the definition. So domestic violence, right, was so common at one point, and I can't remember the period of time. It's not that long ago. It was so common that when the law was called because, you know, a family was going through, they wouldn't even arrest whoever the person was that was accused of being violent or, you know, being aggressive. They wouldn't even arrest the person because culturally, some cultures embrace aggressive behavior. It's part of the part of that culture. So they would just, you know, go away, even though whoever the victim was might have been bleeding. You know, they would go away, and eventually, you know, and like I said, we redefine things, you know, to make them socially acceptable. So now, domestic violence is broke up into so many different categories. You know, so now, let's say if a husband or ex-husband or boyfriend or whatever should, you know, become aggressive against the girlfriend or the female, you know, just jump ahead a little bit. A lot of us do not even report the incident, you know, and it's an alarming figure that 1.3 million women yearly, just in the United States alone, undergo aggressive behavior, you know, and sometimes trying to even make them aware of the signs to look for it's really, you know, doesn't even make any sense, because a lot of times we get in, you know, we protect, you know, the person that is offending us, you know, or doing the aggressive behavior. It's really alarming. It's like, and so it has become like the top global. It's very high on social scale, and even on health and the health area. Domestic violence has become a health issue, and it's high globally, not just, but the United States has the highest level of abuse on women. And it's not that it doesn't happen to men, it happens to 1 out of 10 men, but you know, it's more prevalent among with our women. So now we have what do you call it, intimate partner violence, or PIV, you know, and that could happen to either male or female, either by present spouse, ex-boyfriend, whatever, you know. But it's really something that we really need to be taught about. We really do need to be made aware of it, and we need to listen to, you know, we because there's different types. We think that the aggression only has to do with someone using, you know, physical force.
Right.
It's psychological, it's emotional, It's even financial. Sometimes if you're in a living situation and a person takes control of your finances or whatever, it's stalking,
There's many layers.
and sexual. It covers a wide range, but because they didn't address it where it was most prevalent, they broke it up into different categories, and alarming too are the numbers of women that don't report.
Right. And that's true. And thank you for that share, Mom. And I think it works on both ends. There's so many, and one of the things with shows like these, when we start getting into deep conversations, some people may steer away, and it's understandable because, it can be triggering. And so we want to, again, reiterate that our conversation tonight is just to bring some, just to introduce, to bring some awareness, just to have some, basic conversation and share some facts. Because as the month goes along, we are going to have some more experts coming. But sometimes it's good. It's self-reflective. It's moments of self-reflection, which are really important, because we have to consider the decisions that we've made that put us in. Everything in the world is based on relationship. I don't care what you do, everything, whether it's business relationship, church relationship, social relationship, partnership, your family, your friend, everything is built. You cannot get away from relationship. And we need to understand how we're showing up in relationships and why. Some of us have been exposed to some things that, again, have desensitized us to thinking that this is normal. So we show up in spaces and we tolerate things from the beginning or brush them off as like it's not a big deal. Oh, it's just how it is. This is normal, typical. Everybody goes through stuff, which is true. But we really want to take a minute to consider and to reflect on our own lives and what we have experienced. So tonight is more of a somewhat of a self-reflective kind of conversation. I want to say early on, Pastor Sheila is going to be on with us next week, and this is one of the many hats that she wears, and she's going to be sharing and really getting in and breaking it down to us some more. So, Lady Deshawn, come on. Jump on in again. This is just awareness. We're not talking about anybody specific, anything specific. We're not naming names, dates, and places. We're not doing any of that. It's just this is the month that they slotted to make awareness known and public. I would say it that way. So come on, Lady Deshawn, share something with us on this beginning of this conversation. What do you think about this topic?
I'm so glad. I'm glad you chose this topic and decided to tackle this month. This is something that is so normal in our everyday lives, but yet we don't talk about it hardly ever. We don't talk about it until someone is dead smack in the middle of it and they're so far deep in. We're like, how can we help? What can we do? We feel so bad. All we can do is pray. That's what we love to say with situations that include domestic violence. It's sad that we let it get that far, but we need to have more conversations about it. We need to bring more awareness. You said in the opening that we are in a time where what's wrong is right and what's right is wrong. And that's so true, because many of us have been exposed to dysfunctional relationships for so long in so many different areas of our lives that we don't understand what a healthy relationship looks like. And when we get to a point where we're trying to have a healthy relationship, it becomes so hard for us to adapt and change that it's a pull and tug on both sides, right? You're trying to be healthy, your version of what you think is healthy, and the other person is as well. But the old you, the normal you, shows up so often that there's always a fight in between. And I think we have to spend more time. We always advocate for healing, find yourself, work on you, but you have to work on you in relationship. You have to
Mhm.
work on you with other people, because you can't practice being in a healthy relationship when you're only in relationship with yourself,
With
when you're
yourself.
only healing with yourself, when you're only having these conversations and situations by yourself. You have to work on being in healthy relationship. How do I have a healthy friendship? What does it mean for me to show up for other people and let them show up for me? What does it mean for me to encourage and support other people? Sometimes things that we say to people we think are encouraging, when on the other side, the other person is saying, why would they say something like that to me? For instance, and this is a perfect example, perfect example. Me and my husband would talk about things and he would get stressed out about situations and things. And I would say, babe, you got this. It's all good. And he's like, that's not how you encourage someone. And I'm like, what do you mean? You got this. You can handle
I thought I would
it.
get
But
it too.
he was like, no, that's not encouraging. Keep it. So we
You
have
feel for that.
to work on being in a relationship and really point out things that are damaging to us, things that are emotionally frustrating. I'll say that. Things that the behaviors that are overly aggressive to us. And sometimes, like you said, you have to look at you. Why do I not see this aggressive behavior as aggressive?
Right.
That this is normal, or this is saying I love you to me. What is it? What is it? And I think looking at the man in the mirror, spending more time, as you said, in reflection, and finding people who are in healthy relationships and understand what healthy relationships look like, spending more time with them and seeing what that is will help to kind of cultivate what that should look like for you. But I think this is a great start of the conversation, a great place to pick up at and start having more open conversations about these behaviors that put us in bad situations.
Thank you. And I love that. And I love everything that you said, everything you and Mom have shared thus far. Because we don't want to come up front and talk about these. A lot of times we don't want to admit that we allow certain things to take place. Everyone wants to come off as the strong soldier all the time. Nothing will bother me. I'm that chick, I'm that guy. Meanwhile, internally, we know we are struggling with our insecurities. We are allowing certain things, certain levels of violation, so to speak, whether it is emotional, whether it is mental, whether it is spiritual, physical, or financial. Why are we allowing these things to take place? But we're putting on the front like we have it all together. A lot of us are walking wounded, in so many ways, and don't want to. It's hard to admit that you've been victimized, and that you're that person who is tolerating a behavior that is oppressive to you and making you feel violated. It is some of us. I know I've had reflective moments where I've been like, why am I here? Why am I tolerating this? Why am I allowing myself to remain in this situation? Doesn't, like Mom said, doesn't necessarily have to be physical all the time. There are many different angles to domestic violence situations or domestic violence matters. And so that's why this month, I'm so glad that they have deemed this month for awareness, because that's one of the main things. And as Mom said, she was sharing some of the statistics and, what those numbers look like. They've gotten so high because so many of us are not aware. Sometimes just that little sarcastic comment or the continuation of when a person communicates sarcastically as a norm, that can be a prelude to violated behavior. When people, there's verbal, there's things that are done verbally that make us feel violated. People can be aggressive in their language. People can be aggressive, in again, not just physically, but as Mom said, financially. and take advantage of you in that sense of you being a source or their resource and just continuing to drain you of yours. It becomes an abusive type situation. Hey, Von Eric is in the house. Want to pause and say hello to my brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope y'all like, subscribe, and share on tonight. We are talking about domestic violence awareness in the month of October. It has been deemed Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so again, we are not coming on as therapy. This is for information. We are just sharing, and we're opening up conversation in the ladies' room tonight. It may be triggering to some because some of us have experienced being in that type of a dynamic or setting, and we don't want to trigger anyone, but we do want to have conversation. And it's hard. You know what I found? You made the point of saying, when you and Pastor Bill are talking and you're saying to him, he's having a rough time and you're like, you got this. How often do we, he's like, that ain't it. It's not the thing. If we do, we think we're encouraging, we think we're being the cheerleader saying it because you want to let the person know that you're going to make it through this. You are more than just this moment. It's a period of time that, don't be discouraged and don't be hard. But I think we have to also learn the proper places for us to say those kind of comments, because when someone is going through a situation of feeling violated or feeling oppressed or being the receiver of aggressive behavior, I don't think we all want to tell our girlfriend, like, you're going to get through it. But nobody wants to hear you got this. It's like, what? Okay, so I'm supposed to continue to, but you do want to encourage them. And outside of that, you also want to help. We have to learn how to be proper encouragers, is really what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes it's not us. It could be our mother. It could be our sister. It could be our brother. It could be our aunt. It could be a friend. And we want to be proper encouragers. So conversations like this are necessary. But if I'm being transparent, and if I'm being honest, and y'all know I'm going to do that. It bothers me how many of us will complain about situations like this, but we won't show up for conversations like this, so that we can get the knowledge and the information that we need sometimes, and it's not a judgment. It just tugs at my heart because, and here we go. I'm a God's girl, so y'all gonna get some Jesus in the word, so my people perish for the lack of knowledge, because we don't know, because there's so many other levels and layers to things that lead to violation and oppressive behaviors that can be very subtle, that we don't recognize because we think that it's just a normal part of, or, oh, it was just like this today, but it's a cycle that happens because we're not aware. But we're also not willing to show up in spaces like these. And this is not for all, it's for some. We're not willing to show up in spaces like these to have these conversations, or even just to get the information. I'm excited. I'm glad we're here opening this up tonight and kicking off the month. But I'm excited for next week. So Pastor Sheila, because she always got the good gems and nuggets. She's always dropping something that just leaves you. Von Eric says, amen, wisdom. Yeah, we have to start showing up for us, but if we were talking about ratchet TV, and if we were talking about, who's sleeping with who, we would have 1,000 people on and watching it in the comments and doing, but when it comes to the things of the heart, it is difficult for us to show up and just get the information. No one is asking anyone to share, to open up, to, put your business on Front Street. We're just creating an avenue for you to have a safe space to gather some information. So I would hope that we do that on tonight, and that you will continue to like, subscribe, and share. It is a tough topic, but it is necessary. We have to, if we're going to be better people, If we're going to have better families and better communities, these are the type of conversations that we need to begin to have. And unfortunately, it's not always going to be had in the settings that we would like for them to be had. So somebody got to do it. So here we are, opening up these conversations. I want to read something. I want to share some information, just some background as to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. October was declared National Domestic Violence Awareness Month in 1989, and it is a time to acknowledge survivors and to be a voice for those who are experiencing these situations. On October 17th is considered Purple Thursday, and we will be on that month as well. That day as well. October 17th is considered deemed Purple Thursday. It's a day where people wear purple to show their support for survivors of DV. This year's theme is hashtag, and this is Deshawn, you touched on this, is hashtag Heal Hold Center. And it's a time for us to embrace diverse paths to healing from violence and oppression. And there are some colleges that have turned their campuses purple in honor of awareness. It's all about making us aware. I'm gonna put it in the chat, hashtag heal. Y'all forgive me. I'm going blind today. Heal. Oh Jesus, I'm really messing up. Hold Center. All right, there we go. Because I want y'all to keep that in mind and hashtag it as you think this month, as this month goes by. But again, it's the time to embrace diverse paths of healing from violence and oppression. And this information is information that I received, that I looked up, and I got it off of the National Domestic Violence Awareness Organization. So it's not anything that I made up, but it's the DVMA, the National DVAM organization. They are the organization that guides, that helps to instruct, that helps to give awareness and resources to those who are experiencing these situations. And they do have an 800 number that I'm going to share as well, that is free and confidential, because we want to be a support to those that we may know. And sometimes, and it could have been us at some point in time, and we may not have even realized it, again, because of the way that life goes and it flows. Sometimes we experience things that we know don't feel right, but we don't complain because it seems like it's the norm. So this month, we're not just going to be talking about the red flags and the yellow flags and the white flags. We're also going to be talking about the green flags, which are, we want to, this is one of the things that the National Domestic Violence Awareness Organization does, is that they highlight the positive actions or traits, because you don't want to keep embellishing and you don't want to always focus on the negative. We want to give people hope and also give them and acknowledge the positive parts of, recovering, of surviving, of progressing, and of moving forward in the things, from these situations and from this dynamic to others. It's a very sensitive and touchy topic, but I do believe that it is very necessary. I know my organization, my outreach ministry, Be Encouraged Outreach Ministry, I decided that I'm going to link up with the National Domestic Violence Awareness Organization so that we can figure out locally how we can be a support. Everybody's waiting for someone else to do something, and so we need to see what our hands can do locally, not just, it takes the local people to make the national effect. So I want to ask a question of you ladies. Ladies have anything you want to share before I ask a question? Please go right ahead. Either one of you, Pastor Rosa, Lady Deshawn, do you have anything else you want to share in this moment? Okay, Deshawn said no. All right. I want to ask this question go ahead, sis. No, go ahead. You're muted. Okay. So I want to ask you guys this question. Because we are believers here. Okay. I want to ask the question, do you think or do you feel, because a lot of people place a lot of ownership onto the church, onto ministries, and on God. So I want to know, do you think or do you feel, and this is just your personal feeling and opinion, again, we're not experts, we are not counselors tonight, we are just opening up a conversation, but I wanted to get your thoughts because a lot of people get angry with the church because they feel that the church is not doing enough for people and for communities and those type of things. But do you feel that there is a responsibility on the church? And I don't want to just make it, I have to talk from where my moral compass is. So wherever your moral compass is, whatever your belief structure is, whatever that is for you, do you feel that we as a body have a responsibility to assist or to minister to those that are in these environments that experience these situations? Either one of you can start.
I absolutely, 100%, and if there was another amount to go to make it stronger, I would add that, I have a woman's ministry and I'm, also in ministry, and this is what I'm getting my doctorate in right now, Christian counseling. And so one of the areas that we just touched last week was about abuse. Our responsibility. We can't select what we want to do, when God calls us, because he called us for us to be the conduit for him to heal. And so one of those areas is women going through abusive issues. We can't select to which one we want to do. We need to. Yes, it is the church's responsibility to deal with the whole person, whatever that person is going through. This is one of the reasons why I worked in social service for about over 30 something years. And one of the most disappointing things to me was I could only reach my client to a certain point. I couldn't go over on this area because of my job responsibility, but my heart was there with this woman. She's sitting in front of me, and she's going through, and I just couldn't touch that area because of my job description, and so it meant that it was my, I would lose my job or whatever, but it did not relieve my conscience of my responsibility. How do I reach this person, but it was made possible, off of, after 5 or whatever, the person would see something in me and then begin to ask questions, and then we were able to connect, so I had a point to reach this person, but it was all the responsibility that I had as not just as a woman, but as a believer. I had that responsibility. That's why I love the ministry that I have. My ministry is Reach and Restore, and this is what the responsibility that I was given to restore, meaning something was there,
Mm-hmm.
something happened. And so let's restore this person back to wholeness. So yes, we do. The church is responsible. We are the body. We are responsible.
I believe we do have, a responsibility to our community in many ways, many ways. Von Erich says, wow, Dr. Rosa, congrats on your journey to becoming a doctor. Much love and respect. Yes, congratulations. She is on her way. And thank you for that share, Mom. We are very proud of you. And again, we are not experts. We are not counseling here tonight. We are not, just want to make that very clear. We are just opening up conversation and dialogue and getting some thoughts and feelings and opinions, because all month long, we're going to be sharing on domestic violence awareness. Is making people aware, and not just aware of the situations, but we want to also provide resources and avenues of help for those who may need it, or if you know someone who may need some counseling, some therapy, a safe place, whatever it is. But we want to be able to make sure that we are fully extending ourselves and making sure that we are covering all the bases. Like I said, I know that this is a touchy and triggering subject. We are not digging too deep tonight or at all this month in some senses, but we want to honor this conversation, this time of the year, while we're talking about all the other things that are going on. A lot of people sitting next to us are hurting and we may not even know it. So, we need to become aware of signs and how we can be of help even to the person that's right next to us. Von Erich says, thanks for the info. Dawn B will pass it on. Yes, you're welcome. I put in the chat for those who might need or want to know. Again, as I shared earlier, that October 17th is Purple Thursday in honor of DVA. So that's a Thursday night. Yeah. So we're going to be on here with our purple on that night. So whoever's coming on, everybody's welcome to come on. We're going to come on, get a purple, I don't care, get some purple ribbon, wear some purple eyeshadow, but put on something purple. Not for the men though. Don't put no purple eyeshadow on men. We don't want that. But we want to honor this month. And I also shared the domestic violence hotline number, which is 800-799-SAFE or 7233, or you can text in capital letters START to 88788 to call, chat, or text. And as the month goes on, we will be sharing our own resident experts information as well. Pastor Sheila is a licensed clinician. She's a therapist. She's a counselor. And one of our other guests, Dr. Tresmaine Grimes, she'll be joining us this month. She is my pastor, my spiritual mom, and she also is a doctor and has a outreach ministry as well, who serves this community. So, well, Eric's laughing. That's right. No, I don't want to see the men folk with no purple eyeshadow. I love y'all. No offense to anybody. I'm just saying. Just find a purple tie. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. So Deshawn, do you want to add anything and share?
So that's a really good question. Is the church responsible? Do we have an obligation? And my answer is always and forever will be yes. We have an obligation to be a hospital. And I think a lot of people have said the church isn't doing enough because we don't give people space to be wounded. They feel like they have to come to church and pretend like everything is okay until they're just completely falling apart. And the Holy Spirit forces them to show where their wounds are. And I think that is our responsibility, is to be the safe space. And in a lot of situations, I have seen where there are pastors and leaders, clergy, who exude aggressive behavior in their personal relationships with their spouses, with their children. But then they come to church and they're a completely different person.
Mhm.
Where does that family go? Where does that wife go?
Right.
Help. Where is her safe space? Why are we as the church who see the signs, who notice things, why are we condoning it? And what I mean by condoning it is at some point you have to acknowledge that this person
Right.
has these behaviors, exudes these behaviors, and they are not fit to lead. And that, I know that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, because how can you say what God has told somebody to do or to not to do? But the Bible also says that we must lead by example.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Bible scholars, but I want to say it's in Timothy, maybe it's Thessalonians, one of the two, where it breaks down every single aspect of what a man in leadership in the church should be. Every single aspect of how you should be a leader, how you should be kind-hearted, how you should have patience, all of the things that a man and women, because this can go both ways, a
Yes,
man
ma'am.
or a woman will not show if you're leading with aggressive behavior. And I think as a church, it is our responsibility, one, to be a hospital, to give space for people to come and be wounded and get healed. And two, for us to be transparent enough that when we see the signs, to begin to have the conversations, to stop letting things happen behind closed doors when we see the signs and don't speak up.
No, that's good.
That is absolutely our responsibility.
That is good. I love everything you said. Bonnie Eric said, amen to showing wisdom. Yes. The church is a hospital. Which brings me to, we need to assess the places that we're set in, and how we can be a help to one another, regardless. It's not just a church responsibility. It's a human responsibility. As a human being, we in the church, yes, we have a responsibility because it's the love of God that, we should be able to go to our brother if you find them in a fault, and have a conversation. We can't overlook and just bypass certain things. We do need to bring them to the forefront, and do so lovingly, because sometimes people who are being the aggressor are doing so because they've been on the other side of an aggressor. So they're repeating the behavior that they came to know, and they may not know any other way to express, how to feel. I want to how to feel strong or respected. How do I get respect? And sometimes people feel that the only way to get respect is by displaying aggressive behavior. So we have to be very careful. And I think if we're going to say that while yes, the church has a responsibility, and again, this is we're talking. We are having open conversation and sharing our thoughts and our feelings, because iron sharpens iron. And how can we get to a place of teaching and understanding if we don't have conversation with one another? But if the church has this responsibility, we also then have to make sure that we have trained people who are in place to be able to be that resource or that outlet to those who are in need. It can't just be, turn to, Philippians 4 and recite, verse 2, 3 times a day. Now, I don't know what Philippians 4 and 2 says right now, so don't just say it. But, we can't just throw a verse out there to someone. And this does not take anything away from the power and the truth of the word of God. The word of God it comes to change us. It comes to prick our hearts. It comes to encourage us. And it comes to push us, into our next Well, Eric is laughing. I'm just saying. So hold me to what it says. I was just picking it out. I was just picking it out. Just saying. He says, "Oh yes, we must have respect. Yeah, we have to have the right trained people. We can't, and this is a responsibility too. Also in ministry and in churches, or in organizations, we have to make sure again that we have the right people in the right places to support. It can't, and especially in the church, it can't just be, I went to school and I have my degree in theology and I can break the Bible down. Okay, that's wonderful and that's great, but can you counsel? Are you licensed to counsel? What your license allows you to do is to impart the word, but that license does not equip you to counsel. You have to be able, I believe we need to make sure that we are well balanced, that we have the right people in the right places with the right credentials to be able to counsel, because we're responsible for those who come to us. We're responsible for the advice or the guidance that we give. We are responsible for our response to them, for being that lifeline. So we have to make sure that we are educated properly and that we can bear the weight of assisting. Every pastor is not a counselor. Every preacher is not a counselor. That is not everyone's area of expertise. You need real clinicians, real licensed people to be able to really read, understand, and be able to minister to whomever it is in front of them for whatever it is that they're going through. And you can add the word into your counseling if that's what if you're in a Christian setting. But I also think the church has to be prepared to counsel people who are not in the church. We need to be able to be a community resource that is open to all those who may not believe. And just because they don't believe doesn't mean that they don't need the resource, the assistance, and the help. And you cannot approach someone, and I want to say you can't approach an unbeliever with the word of God the way you would a believer, because they are not yet there. You can approach them with the principle of what the word is saying, but this is where proper training is important, that you're able to express that point of the word without going to scripture, verse, and text. I just really believe that we do have responsibility. Von Eric says, wow, wisdom. Yeah, we have to, and it's important because I think so many churches and so many communities, but how are we serving our communities? Are we just serving the community of the people who come in the building? Or are we really opening up and serving our communities as a whole? The homeless, those who really need the help outside of the building, because some people will never come into the building. And some people are ashamed, so we have to be willing to go out and get them and to receive them and make a comfortable space for them. So, go ahead, Mom.
But the needs are the same. Human needs are the same, whether they are saved or not saved. So, as I said, I'm getting my doctorate in Christian counseling, but all my masters are also in secular counseling. So the two, you can combine the two. You have to understand the mind, the way people think, before you can actually apply scripture, for them to heal. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. You do. And we have to be in the right place. Hey, Cece, so glad you popped in, sis. It's good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Like, subscribe, and share. We are talking this month. We are bringing awareness to the world in the best way that we know how. This month is going to be a little deeper than usual. October is deemed Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Von Eric said, preach, Pastor Dawn B. I hear you, Queen. I'm trying, sir. I'm trying my best. Thank you. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we want to open up this dialogue and conversation to help bring awareness. We want to use this platform to help bring awareness to those who may be in DV situations, DV environments, or have experienced it, or maybe you know someone who is experiencing that now. We need to know how to be a support. We need to know how to recognize signs. We need to know and be able to provide some resources of help to get them through where they're at so they can get to their better self, so that they will pick themselves up from where they are and they will move on with life and becoming everything that they are purposed to be. So we were sharing that, again, this is not, the conversation may be triggering for some, and that is not our intention, but we want to bring awareness. This month we will be having our clinicians and licensed counselors coming on and sharing, because we want to make sure that we have full balance. We don't want to start a conversation and then leave people hanging. You know, we want to be able to have a source, a resource, and a guide for you. So we are peeling it back a little bit this month, but we still gonna have a good time as well. So we were opening up, like I said, and introducing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And just want to again reiterate for those just joining that we need to be mindful that domestic violence, this particular, it doesn't just happen to women. There's a population of men that experience it as well. And that population of men, I believe the statistics is probably higher with women because less men don't report it. Most men don't say anything because men are not taken seriously because of gender, I feel, when these situations are occurring. But these situations are not just physical. They can be emotional, they can be mental, they can be spiritual, they can be financial. And it is any situation that leaves you feeling, I don't want to say any, maybe that's too broad, but it's situations that make you feel violated and that make you feel oppressed and that are, I want to say, somewhat demeaning to who you are. Anything that's trying to stifle you and weigh you down. We have to stop accepting just any type of behavior and brushing it off as normal, as it's just a habit. No, we have to start taking the time to address, as Lady Deshawn was saying, to acknowledge and address those who are being the aggressor, as well as those who are being the recipients of behaviors that are inappropriate. I would put it that way, because we also have to be very careful of our language and our verbiage. So we are speaking very calmly today because I don't want us to get kicked off. I don't want us to have any word strikes. I don't want us to get suspended. So we're going to make sure that we are talking right and calm and cool today. So I want to shift a little bit. Again, we're going to be talking about the red flags, the right flags, yellow flags, when it comes to domestic violence awareness. But we're also going to be sharing about some green flags, which is the positive actions or traits of people who are survivors that are coming through, because you want to be able to encourage them forward to continue coming out of what they've been in. So I want to shift a little bit in the conversation, because this is like a little alternate topic that kind of underlying when it comes to domestic violence awareness, and how we, again, it's always self-reflective. As we talk, we want to always be self-reflective. I was sharing in the chat, and I'm going to go back and put it up there if I can find it, that October was declared National DVA Month in 1989, and it's a time to acknowledge DV survivors and to be a voice to help support them. Thursday, October 17th, 2 weeks from today, is what they deem Purple Thursday. And it's a day where people wear purple to show their support for survivors of DV. And I would hope that we would all participate in that in some way, shape, or form. This year's theme from the National Domestic Violence Organization is hashtag Heal Whole Center. That is what their theme is, Heal Whole Center. And we also put into the chat the number that can be used should you need the number yourself, or if you know someone that needs the number, just to call, chat, or text with anyone to get some help, some resources and assistance that is there. I'm also going to put the website up before we end the program today, because there's a lot of great information that is there for you. And we need to be equipped to handle the heaviness of others, of the lives of others. So with that in mind, I want to say, you know, being that we're in the season of fall, and I know last month was an amazing month because we were talking about cuffing season and, you know, being aware of, you know, don't get caught up in the okie doke. I still say, you know, Fluffy Nation, rise up, be aware, check on your fluffy friends, check on your 2X and up friends, okay? Because this is the time when cuffing season starts. This is the prequel, okay? This is where these people start scouting out. But we need to make ourselves aware so that we make better decisions. And the more informed we are about us, the better we will be prepared to manage, bless you, the better be prepared to manage the things that confront us and make better decisions in those moments. We won't be guided by our loneliness. We won't be guided by our temporary moments of feeling depressed or despondent or discouraged. But one of the things I wanted to talk about in this fall season, just like is allowing things to fall off. There are things that are, that's right, Von Eric, the fluffy friends. That's right. Check on your fluffy friends. Listen. Okay, don't play with it. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's not safe for us 2X and up people right about now. Winter is coming and people are looking for a warm body. Okay, they're looking for, if you don't have one, even some people with one are still looking for one. Okay, so the Fluffy Nation is a real thing. We're going to have hoodies and everything real soon. So check on your friends. Make sure that they are not falling for someone who is approaching them with the vibe of being a permanent fixture in their lives, but they are really just looking for some temporary relief. So it's all about awareness. But in being aware, there's some things that we have to take inventory on and allow to fall off of us. Just like the leaves now are falling off of the trees and preparing for the next season. And it's amazing how when the spring was coming and, you know, the land was all dry and you see the grass is withered and it's starting to bud all over again. And then the next thing you know, spring is here and then the grass is green and the flowers are starting to spring up, and then summer comes. My Eric is so bad. He is dying. But Eric, you missed September, man. You got to go back and watch. It was a whole thing. Deshaun, was it not a whole thing? It was a whole thing. This is real. Come to see, that was a good conversation last month. That's no joke.
Conversation.
I'm telling you, go watch it. But all the work that the earth did to spring forth and yield up these beautiful flowers and trees and grass and all of that in its season, and then to go through the summer, and now we're here in fall, and now the beauty of the work that the earth was doing to yield it is now starting to fall off and fall away. And part of that, while it is still beautiful to see the leaves changing their colors, we too have to think of ourselves as going through those seasons. All of the work that we did in the prior months, now we are here. But in this season, what is it that we need to be self-reflective on in our own lives that maybe we need to start letting that fall off? We don't need everything that we started with. Look, watch all 4 weeks. I promise you. Don't be embarrassed, Mom. Don't be embarrassed. It's too late. But there's some things that
shaking her head. you. Can't see my Rose head just. She tried to be subtle. She tried to, but I see it.
It's too late. It's too late. I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna shout her out, but then she started really, her chin was hitting her chest. So I had to pick up your head, Mom. Pick it. Do not hold her responsible for any of my shenanigans. I promise you, she raised me right, whether I show it or not. She did it. I am my own adult, okay? I make my own decisions, all right? I'm just saying. Some of her lessons I did let fall off because I thought what I wanted to do was more fun. So that's what I'm saying. So she's a responsible adult. But there are some things in these upcoming seasons that we need to allow to fall off from us. And we want people to know that it's okay to let certain behaviors, certain thoughts, and certain feelings, and even some people to fall off. It's all right. Y'all pray for Dr. Rosie. Y'all pray for my mom. Okay, it's not easy. It's not easy being my mom. It's fun. It's not easy. It's not. So, share with us, ladies, if you don't mind. What is it that you think what in this season do you want to allow to fall off? Or how can we, what I want to say? What is one way that we can help and encourage people in the process of allowing things to fall off? Come on, Mom.
Well, I think the number one thing that we really need to see is who we really are. I think that's one of our biggest problems. I think we sometimes compare ourselves to other people, or we give other people's opinions a higher place in our mind, in our lives. We give our own, thoughts. Nobody's perfect. It's a process. We're going to get through this. It's when it's not what you do, it's how, how you look when you come out. What did you learn? So for me, I guess people say this is a reckless age.
Oh,
when
Lord,
you get over
yes.
70, it becomes reckless because you just be like, well, I really don't care anymore. I'm really tired of kind of not saying, people are, people speak, and they're saying things, but they forget, that you have eyes and you have thoughts, so when you telling me about me, I'm looking at you. So, do you want to know what my thoughts are?
Well, can I just say, can I sidebar and say, I'm gonna be honest, Mama Rosa's filter fell off 20 years ago, y'all. I just want you to know that. It fell off and we haven't found it yet. That's what fell.
Maybe 10 years ago. Because
okay, it loosened up 20 years ago, but it definitely was missing the last 10.
You do get tired. You do get tired of carrying other people, and especially when nobody's carrying you. So for me, I let what you think fall off. I let I do. I let it fall off, and I'm just hearing you. I'm not listening. I hear you, but I'm not listening. I'm not carrying them. I'm not allowing that to take room in my. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm done with that. And so, be you. Be who you are. I know who I am better than anybody else outside of my creator. I know who I am. Sometimes people will tell you certain things. Well, I know you don't like. Well, how do you know I don't like it? Did you ask me? Did you? You just. That's just your perception. But that's it. So that's where I am. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to. You know, I don't have to do that anymore. You know, so you know, I'm just being. I just let me be me. You know, I'm gonna be me. You know, so I let the weight of what other people think and what other people say. No, not this trip.
And that's good. That's good. But again, I just want a disclaimer. That right there, statement right there, lets y'all know that some of the tomfoolery where I get it, I do get some of it honest from somebody over that side. I'm not saying no names. But that's that right there. But no, that was good, Mom. You know, the fact that you're talking about, we do have to let what other people think of us fall off and not be the weight that keeps us down, while we want to make sure that people are receiving us correctly. But you can't be entrapped and imprisoned by everybody's thoughts, because you will be a hot mess running around trying to be everything to everyone and end up being nothing to nobody, not even yourself. So that's really good. Like, and it's okay, people, to let you know, make you aware. It is okay to not be concerned about what other people think about you and your situation, when you just stay true to who you are and to who you are working towards being, not being what other people want you to be. Come on, Deshawn.
So I got time for a little story.
Come on.
Mama Rosa is on to something with there. You have to get comfortable with who you are, right? So here's my testimony. Here's my story. I didn't want to tell anyone when me and my ex-husband split, when we separated, because I knew no one would understand. So no one knew until it was absolutely out of my hands and they just found out, because they wouldn't understand. When I left, I chose to leave because I felt my light going out. My light was dim. I was at the end with the mental and the verbal abuse. There was no physical abuse, but abuse is abuse, right? In that time that I didn't share what was going on with anybody, and in the time after, I had a lot of time to spend with myself and heal and realize who I was, which meant rediscovering Deshawn, rediscovering what I like. Is my favorite color really blue? Do I really like the summer or the winter? What about me do I like? Who am I? So in that time, I had a lot of time, and people didn't understand why. They had all the questions in the world. They couldn't understand why. He didn't beat you? No. He didn't cheat? No. Is it a baby? I said he didn't cheat. They couldn't grasp anything outside of that, so they didn't understand. So it brought me to the point where I just did not care about what people said. I didn't care. Say what you want, believe what you want. I had to do what was best for me. And that is the point where we have to get. That is where you have to be, where you get to the point where you know who you are, you understand what you like, what you don't like, what you have the capacity to deal with, and some things you don't have to explain. You don't have to explain, because at the end of the day, this is your life. The only person you have to answer to is God. You know what you're responsible for here on earth, but the only person you have to answer to is God. And when you walk and live your life in a way where you're answering to God, and that's the person who you want to please, and you want to make sure that you are good, your children are good, while they're minors, because grown children, like Dawn said, they do what they want to do. So all you can do is cover them. But when you get to that point where you're focused on you and focused on what puts you in a good space and what is conducive for you to grow even further beyond where you are, that's when you can really begin to see yourself blossom. You have to know what you have the tolerance for. Don't allow people to pour things on you. Like Mama Rosa said, they want to pour their opinions, their thoughts, what they think you should and shouldn't be. And at the end of the day, you're stuck holding the bag. On top of their drama that they want to bring to you that they didn't even ask you if you have the capacity to hear. Do you have time to listen? Can you please be my shoulder? They just start talking and dumping, and you have to now shift through all their baggage, their emotion, and their feelings. When you were in a good space before you answered the phone, you were in a good space before you had lunch with that person. You were in a good space before they showed up. So you have to protect your own peace. I'm a huge advocate for peace. If you don't have peace with yourself, you will never have peace. So once you do have it, hold on to it with all you got, by any means necessary.
Every means
Mama Rose, I think I did the reverse of you. My filter wasn't there. I had to grow a filter. And now, when I don't know when it's going to fall back off, but Lord have mercy on me.
Let's be glad that it's there. Let's be glad that you found one for now. Let's just be glad for that. What Eric said, he's dying. He's cracking up still at Mom. He says, so Dr. Rosa, you just going to ignore me. That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying, my Eric. He said, I hear you, but I ain't listening. From the doctor. Who does that? From the doctor. My God. Help us, Lord. Where will we go now? He also says, amen, Dog B. And he says, thanks for sharing your story, Lady Deshawn. Much love and respect. Amen. And this is, this is truth. It's a safe space to share. I want to ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that thumbs up button. Share with someone. Invite someone into this space to engage in conversation with us as we are opening up this month. I love what you said, Deshawn, and I love what you said, Mom. And the two actually go together. Mom's talking about freeing yourselves of others' thoughts of you. I'm gonna tie them together. This is what I'm gonna do. We're talking about freeing yourself of the thoughts of others so that you can rediscover yourself. Because that's what Deshawn was talking about rediscovering herself after those moments. And it is so important. And I can agree with you and relate, Deshawn, about going through a divorce silently. I don't think anybody knew, but maybe my mom, and I don't think I told her right away. I went to do what I needed to do. By the time people found out or realized that I was divorced or even getting divorced, I had changed my name on Facebook for a whole year before anybody noticed. And by the time by the time that they noticed, I was already my divorce was finalized. So I had already gone through all of that silently. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even talk to my best friend about it. I didn't tell, I think I told my mom towards the end. I had a conversation with her in the beginning, and I think I told her again towards the end, because I needed to silence other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. I had to, what I would say is learn how to let shame fall off of you and never let guilt even get on you. Because guilt and shame are two things that we will hold on to, that will lock us into and keep us committed to situations and relationships that we should not be, because we don't want to be. I know for me, part of it was I did not want to be ashamed because I've been married more than once. I shouldn't have been married either time. And again, I've shared that before in this space. Great people, just not for me. I was completely disobedient. I was trying to make things happen that were not meant to happen. I did not want to be ashamed. I did not want to feel used. I did not want to feel invaluable. I didn't want to feel like a failure. So, I stuck in one marriage, got in one marriage I knew I should not have been, but I did it because I was absolutely on the borderline of being bitter. So I allowed that to, like, you ain't going to take up my life and you're going to keep your word. You know what I'm saying? And then I got into a second marriage shortly after my first. And that was somewhat, when I think about it, not that it wasn't genuine, but it was also to say, you know, you don't want me, somebody else will. Like, oh, well, like, you know, it's not, you're not the last person. You know, because I didn't want to feel unwanted. I didn't want to feel, but both situations were situations that I really should not have been in. And I knew that it was not the right situation for me. But again, trying to make things happen because I didn't want to feel guilt or shame or unvaluable. And realizing that now, I encourage anyone, don't make decisions from that space. Allow those feelings to let it fall off. Let it fall off. There is no guilt. You have nothing to feel guilty of when you know that you've done the right things. You have to do what's best for you. Do not feel ashamed if you have to go through divorce, or if you have to go through a breakup, or if you have to leave or separate. There is no shame. Do what you need to do so that you are surviving. That's the key. That's where the glory is. Taking care of yourself so that you can survive, to see another day, and to live a healthier life and relationship. Von Eric says, yeah, Dr. Rosa and I must have convo with God, can't accept Queen ignoring me. Yes. Von Eric, you be in her face, okay? Be in her face. That's right, because it's not all right. Don't let her ignore you. Don't let her do it. He also says, yes, shame and guilt is a hard burden to deal with. Shaking my head, still my struggle. Yeah, it will. Shame and guilt are very difficult, and they're so personal. And a lot of the times I've found that we are feeling shameful and guilty about things that people aren't even paying attention to. It's us. We make it seem like it's bigger than what it is. And most often people will say what they have to say and they'll keep it moving. But you just don't want to look a certain way in front of people. And we should never feel guilty about leaving a situation that is unhealthy for us. Never feel guilty about doing what is the best for you, to keep your peace, to keep your mind, and to keep your heart and spirit healthy. You want to say something, Mom?
No, I'm just agreeing with you, that, you know, when I realized that my sanity was being arrested by, you know, a mess that I got myself in. You know, you're absolutely.
Yeah. It's you know, and we do that. Sometimes we do it trying to keep up with other people. You are in competition with no one at all. The only person you are in competition with is yourself. And I love this saying that I hear. I don't know who it belongs to, but I'm going to share it. And it says, you can't compete where you don't compare. And you are in competition with no one because there is no one else like you. Period. Doesn't mean anybody else is not as important or as valuable or as great and as awesome, but each one of us are great, amazing, awesome, and number one in our own right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of these things tie into, because I know it's like, how does that even fall into domestic violence awareness? Well, it's about being self-aware first, right? It's about allowing things to fall off. Don't be afraid to separate yourself from those things that are oppressive to you and that make you feel violated. It may not be an easy process, and it will be difficult along the way, but it will be worth it in the end. So take your time to rediscover yourself, separate your thoughts of what other people think of you while you're going through this process, and do what you need to do to secure yourself so that you can show up the best version of yourself that you could possibly ever be. So I want to thank everyone for joining us on tonight for this first opening introduction of our Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I pray that you would like, subscribe, and share. Von Eric says, amen. Von Eric will be on with us this month, too. Matter of fact, he'll be on the 17th with the Men's Lounge. Yeah, he sure will. He promised this. Don't be there. See, I put you out there now, Von Eric. You got to be there. And I might have to make mom show up just so that she can own up to talking to you face to face so that you are not ignored.
Okay.
But I do want to thank you all. I pray that this has been informational. Again, we are just sharing information on tonight. We are just opening up this month. We have Pastor Sheila, who is going to be coming on next week to share with us. So if I'm telling you, y'all don't want to miss. Take some time, invite someone. Just come and sit in the midst. Just come and sit in the chat. Just come and be present. We all need some information. So invite someone to just come and listen in on this great info. You never know what position or place you may be in where you might need to be the shoulder that someone leans on. And this information is going to be helpful to you, helping them to survive. So we want to make sure that we are representing ourselves good and well and being here. Von Eric says, oh, yes, make sure she is okay. Okay, mom's going to have a spotlight moment in the men's lounge on the 17th so that, okay, it's going down. Don't play with me. So, again, I hope that you guys have enjoyed the conversation. I want to leave space for Mom and Lady Deshawn to give us their final thoughts and comments before we close out on tonight. So come on. I'm gonna do Lady Deshawn first. Go ahead, Lady Deshawn.
I want everybody to know that you don't have to suffer in silence. Domestic violence awareness is very real. And the biggest step, the biggest part of it is being aware of you being valuable. Your life is important. Your feelings are important. And you don't have to suffer in silence. And if you're a friend of a friend of a friend, be there for them. Be that shoulder. Be that person that don't be like Deshawn. Don't say you got this. Don't say you got this, but truly be a shoulder for them. Be a sounding board. Be help. Have the resources to be able to help them. But know that you are valuable, you are loved, and you are important. So you don't have to stay in situations like this. There is always a way out.
Awesomeness. Come on, Pastor Rosa.
Well, I know this is not a Christian platform, but I need to say this. A lot of times a person will say, because I love you. That's not love. Violence is not love. Self-defense, that's the whole different thing. But someone hitting you, cursing at you, and doing all of these other things to manipulate you, bring that's not love. You know, the version of love that we're looking for is that version where, if I'm permitted to say, when Jesus said, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, the whole thing in that is that he cared, he protected her, he provided for her. When people are doing those things for you and helping, challenging you to be a better you and not tearing you down, that's love. That's, so don't let someone hit you and tell you that it's love, because it's not.
Thank you for that share. And ladies, I'm going to ask you to hang out for a little bit. Guys, again, I want to thank you for joining us on tonight for October's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We have left the number up for you to write down, share with someone, share with everyone. Let's blow up and make the National Domestic Violence Organization aware that we are aware by putting hashtag Heal, Whole, and Center in your post this month. Remember, on October 17th, it is Purple Day, where we will be wearing purple in honor of DV survivors. I want to just remind you that DV is not just physical. It can be emotional. It can be mental. It can be spiritual, it can be physical, and it can be financial. I want to remind you that it falls along the lines of the things that make you feel violated and oppressed. You do not have to remain with people who are expressing aggressive behaviors towards you. And as well, be mindful that you are not the one who is displaying aggressive behaviors towards others. So let's remember to keep loving each other, to keep praying for one another, for keep lifting each other up. Remember that it's okay to let things fall off. Let whatever fall to the side that needs to fall to the side. Falls are not always clean. Some are pre-planned, and some just happen. So I want to thank you guys for being here on tonight. I hope that this beginning of the month has inspired you. I hope you'll tune in with us next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Dr. Sheila Ingram. I'm going to call her doctor. I'm going to call it what it is. Dr. Sheila Ingram will be here with us, sharing with us some of the key factors about domestic violence awareness. And she is a licensed clinician and counselor therapist who will have great resources as well. Again, that number is up there, and we're going to leave it up there. Ladies, hang out with me for a minute as we close out the show. I love you guys. Grace, peace, be encouraged. Invite a friend, like, subscribe, and share. See you next week.
I'ma make the rest of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life. I'ma make the rest of my life.